everybody. Welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Club podcast, where we unpack the world of property investments and give you the tools to make a smart decision when it comes to income producing property. I'm your host today, Ola Ibiwoye. And today we're diving into a debate that many real estate investors would often put up for challenge, actually, which is apartment investment versus single family home investments. So practically today's topic will be in that line for me. Why are apartment investments better than single family home investments? So we're going to be considering several aspects of this so much heated debate, because the single family investors will tell you that they're better off, while apartment investors will tell you they're better off, actually. So but let's look at what this is all about today. Let's unpack it. I'm glad to be with you today with another episode of Commercial Property Club podcast. So let's consider the overview. Let's look at a little bit of what these investments entail of. Let's start by breaking down what each of these investments entail. A single family home is exactly what it sounds like. A standard property, standalone property designed for just your everyday family to live in. On the other hand, an apartment investment typically means owning a multi-family property where multiple units generate rental income under the same roof. Both opinions have their actually pros and cons. You could see of single family homes that might feel simpler or even more manageable for your first time investors. But once you start looking at scalability, cash flow, risk management, apartment sort of takes a little bit of an edge, a lead. Let's dive into this and see how we need to look at this. Let's talk about cash flow advantage. This is saying that says that cash flow is king. You can both get cash flow on both sides, but the scalability is just different when you come down to the facts. Cash flow is king, you would say. An apartment tends to outshine single family homes in this department. Here's why. With apartment, you've got multiple units generating income. If one tenant moves out, you're still collecting rent from the other tenants. But with a single family home, a vacancy means you have zero income. For as long as it's empty, there's no income coming through that one door. Now think about it. If it was a multi-family or an apartment, let's say you own a duplex or a 40-unit apartment, or let's just say a duplex that brings in $1,200 monthly. That's $2,400 in a month as income. Now compare that to a single family home that rents for $1,500. The apartment investment clearly creates a stronger income stream and a safer kind of like net for vacancy, if you would look at it critically. Now let's consider another good advantage that I would say an apartment has over a single family unit. Economy of scale. Let's talk about economy of scale. One of the most compelling reasons to invest in apartment is with a multi-family property, you're spreading out operational costs across multiple units. What about maintenance, landscaping, property management? These costs are quite costs that could really be consolidated. For example, if a roof repair costs $10,000. That expense gets divided across all the units in the apartment complex. But for a single family home, it's all on one property. Now, over time, the cost efficiency of multifamily investment really takes a little bit of toll though. So let's consider another aspect that I believe, and I know it's obviously quite advantageous when it comes to multifamily: the risk diversification. How about that? Another major benefit of apartment investment is risk diversification. When you have multiple tenants, your rental income is spread across different sources. If one tenant defaults or leaves, it's not catastrophic because all the tenants are still paying rent. Now, contrast with your single family home, where one vacancy means 100% of income is gone, like gone. That's a much higher level of risk, I would say, especially in an uncertain economy. Look at the time of the recession. Your multifamily aspect of things obviously did better than your single family, because even if you had some vacancy, there was still some aspect of your property cash flowing in other units. Another thing I want us to consider that makes it a little bit more of an advantage over the single family property is appreciation and scalability. Appreciation and scalability are key factors that grow your real estate portfolio. Apartments will often appreciate in value based on their income potential, not just market trends. By increasing rents, you could appreciate your property, reducing your expenses. That adds up to the bottom line, because once your expenses comes down, obviously there's more on the side of income. You can directly boost your property value. It's that simple. It's that simple. The scaling is also easier. If you, for example, you buy 20 units apartment, for instance, your portfolio grows by $20. Acquiring 20 single family home, that's 10 separate transactions. 10 separate transactions. That obviously means, you're probably going to do 10 closings and 10 inspection. The time and the energy and the money also it adds to the bottom line if you would compare costs. Now, let's look at another segment that I want to talk about today that makes an apartment investment better than a single family home. The challenge of apartment investment too, we can talk about that also too. The rigors, if your maintenance is under one roof, under one location, it's obviously better than driving around the town to different locations of single family. Now, I'm not saying apartments don't have its challenges. That's not what I'm saying. Apartments have their challenges also too, like upfront cost, usually higher, more complex when it comes to management. You need a solid team on ground to manage your apartments. Operational orders out here and there can be a little bit tasking, more than your regular single family homes. So those are things that also too you got to take into consideration. In return, though, you get a higher return on investment and a better financial security. That's just what I've seen. In my opinion, that's an edge it has over a single family investment. Now, talking on a final note, to say, or rather to build my case when it comes to apartment investment being better than your single family home, we have to look at the advantages I've lined out right now. Apartments offer better cash flow, scalability, the risk of diversification, and the long-term wealth building potential is quite huge. Of course, every investor's situation is unique and different. So consider your goals, your budget, your risk tolerance before making your decisions when it comes to these investments. But if you're serious about growing your real estate portfolio, I would strongly advise you to check out apartment. Check it out. It's perhaps it's better. I would say it's better than your single family home investment. Yet again, like I said, you have to look at your situation to be able to decide which one you would want to go with at the end of the day. Okay? All right. This is Commercial Property Club Podcast. This is Ola, your host. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, a review, share this podcast also, to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Commercial Property Club Podcast. If you have any questions or you have any suggestions as regards to what I need to talk about next, you can inbox me, Commercial Property Club at gmail.com, or contact me on LinkedIn, Ola Ibiwoye. I'm the CEO of ST7 Investments. Commercial Property Club Podcast is one of our media subsidiaries, so check us out. Okay? All right, I will see you another time. Keep on listening to Commercial Property Club Podcast, okay?